Because I live in Grayson.
Here we go.
Hi, everybody. This is Debbie from Spooky Things. Tonight, we've got returning guests on our show, and that's Michael and Destiny Fox from Fox Paranormal. How are you guys doing?
We are freezing to death, but other than that, we're doing well.
It's cold.
Yes, it is.
I went down to Panama City today for work. And let me tell you, boy, howdy, it got cold down there real quick within 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's 24 here. But we're not used to this cold.
No, we're not. We're not used to it either. So I completely relate to you on that. Yeah, and we had the tornado that went through here in Mariana, and it tore stuff up over here. So those poor people are really having.
I have family.
Yeah, and I went out to.
They had a tree fall through their camper.
Oh, to their bedroom?
In their camper. They were not in the camper,
That's even worse.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's just terrible. I've just been seeing such terrible things. And, we were talking to Stan and Teresa. Their daughter lives over in another area in Cottonwood where a tornado went down there. So they're just like all these spinning bandits going on all over the place, wrecking stuff up. So, but luckily, my home is good. My home's fine. You guys came out okay on that?
We did. It did not get bad here. We had a lot of heavy rain, and that was the extent of it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, what's been going on over with you guys on your side of the woods over there?
Well, we're excited. The new podcast. Well, it's not a new podcast. It's the same podcast. It's just that we're live now. And we enjoy that so much. We do have the paranormal chat on the web. And, we were excited about it. And even more excited now that we're doing it. And we're having a blast with it. And it's a pleasure to be on your show tonight. We appreciate you asking us.
Well, no, the pleasure is mine. Are you kidding? I really enjoy having you guys on the show. People really like hearing from you guys to see what's going on over there because you guys are like really interesting.
Oh, well, thanks.
You're welcome.
I guess that was.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I know I'm really enjoying the new podcast too. It's so much better because now people can actually put a name and a face to what they're hearing, who they're hearing, and who they're communicating with. And that's always a wonderful thing, But so we have the W.E.B.B paranormal Paracom coming back up in October. Was it the 5th? I think October the 5th.
First weekend in October, I believe it is.
It's the first weekend in October. So we have the W.E.B.B Paranormal Comic-Con, Paracomic-Con. Well, actually, this year it's a horror con. They're doing it in a horror. So it's going to be a little bit different. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great. So, and we've got a lot of other really cool things coming up. I want to know what's coming up with you guys. What you guys got on the horizon here?
Well, we're in the process of planning out some investigations. We have a couple of ongoing investigations that we have to go back to the residences. Thankful, all except one of these is close by to us. We have one close to Panama City Beach, Florida. It is a private residence. And we have one that we're working now in Dallas, Georgia, which is only 35 or 40 minutes from home. So everything that we've got going right now is super close. We're in the process of booking for our team to go to a lot of venues, and we've got a couple of good paracon. Well, we've got three lined up this year. We're going to be in Gettysburg in June.
Oh,
No, July.
Gettysburg Bash, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's a bucket list for me. And then we'll be going back to Connecticut to the Warrens Paracon in October. So, and then of course we've got Deep South Paracomic-Con in October, the first weekend you mentioned, and I absolutely love that. It was
I
one of the
know.
biggest that we had been to the last couple of years, and it's something different each year. I think this is the third annual that Stan
Mm-hmm.
and Teresa are putting this on, and if I don't know, and they keep saying, "Oh, this year's going to be bigger," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, they did such an amazing job with the con the
They
last
really
2
did.
years. I don't know
They
how it can
really
get any
did.
better."
I know, right? And they keep coming up with these great ideas. It's like, how do you come up with this stuff? But it's really cool. It's cool things
It
that they come
really
up with.
is. It sure is.
And and the venue that they're picking is really nice too. It's very comfortable. People are when you go in there, you feel comfortable. You don't feel like you're all crowded in there, and you
Hmm.
have space to move around. I like that. That's really nice too. Um, Hi, Mercedes. How are you? She says hello from Arizona.
Hey, Mercedes, thank you for all the kind words you gave me not long ago, and you know what I'm talking about. I appreciate that so much. I really do.
She says that she shared it.
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mercedes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's very, very nice. We appreciate all that you do. We really do. And I'd like to talk to you, in a couple of days myself, Mercedes. Um, yeah, we've got some things that are up on the horizon right now, that are coming up, and we're excited about it too. Um, Still needs to have some tweaks done to it before we can say anything, because we have to make sure that we've got it booked correctly and everything like that. And it's so cool out right now that it's wonderful to do so much that you can, especially in the cooler weather. Because, man, when it starts getting hot out there and them bugs start coming out at night, they will eat you up alive. So
Absolutely.
I like getting right. I like getting everything done because I'm a pansy when it comes to bugs. I can't handle bugs.
We just had another
I,
team member walk in. Slow down, Michael. We'll set Kobe in a little bit. This is Kobe, and he's one of our team managers, and he's going to slide in here with us tonight.
Hi,
Hello.
Kobe. How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing good. How cold is it out there now?
19 degrees.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't want to open up my door. I have, yeah. I
my
make the kids go
husband,
get the dogs in.
my husband actually took the day off from work so that he could go with me to work just to make sure that I got there safely this morning.
Stop it.
Yes,
Really?
he did. He did. And I love him so much for that. About
That's a
halfway
keeper
through my
there.
work day, he was probably wishing he had stayed home or went to work himself. But
I mean, that was really nice.
it really
You don't
was.
find that very much anymore. You're a good guy, Michael.
Thank you. Oh, I think we got several things planned for this year too with Webb.
Yeah, but it's in the works right now.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah, we still got a
Well,
lot of that in the works, so we don't want to go springing it till
Mm-mm.
it's ready to be
no,
sprung.
that's right. We need to
Yeah.
keep secrets.
Yeah, I'm not real good with that.
I can be. It depends on what
I
it
just get
is.
excited.
I've always got
I
that
just
one
get
person
excited.
I have to tell, like, please don't tell nobody I told you, but I just have to tell somebody.
Right.
And it's usually somebody that knows nothing about anything it's pertaining
Exactly.
to. It just makes me feel better talking about it.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah. I do have somebody like that too. Knows absolutely nothing about what I do, and probably it goes in this here and out the other as soon as I'm done saying it. But it sure makes me feel a lot better. So works for both of us. So we've had a lot of topics that we've been discussing a lot of. You know what's been coming up a lot here lately is like a topics on aliens. Um, there just seems to be a lot of activity going on with that. Have you guys noticed that?
We have. I've read lots of stories on Facebook about it, and Michael and I are intrigued. Um, we
Yeah.
have we had a conversation about it just today.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I would like to experience this. I would like to see something legit. um,
Yeah.
and we were talking about today the possibility of how an alien spacecraft could actually get into our atmosphere without our government even knowing anything about it.
Or some of the other governments in the world.
Right. Other countries,
Right.
if a craft comes in from space, from somewhere, somebody's got to know about it. We've got all the satellites and everything. It makes you wonder that if this in fact is real, then the government has to know about it. It's like this big secret. The only difference in the secret we were talking about and the government's secret is they don't tell anybody. So maybe they know.
I think the government does know about extraterrestrials. I think they have been here. I think they probably still are here. But
Exactly.
it's a big government cover up. I mean, just here a while back, Congress was approached about this, and they finally did admit, there was a special investigation team formed to investigate extraterrestrials, but they still haven't come forth with all the information, under the.
Right. Right.
So who knows? Um, Area 51, has been around for many, many, many years. It's also, where they develop and test new weaponry and stuff like that. So that would be, to me, a good spot. If an extraterrestrial was wanting to watch us, they'd probably be watching that area to see what kind of weapons we have.
Right. It's interesting also that the government goes and puts out this big, I guess, notice that they finally are coming clean. Yeah, we've been visited. Yeah, they've seen this. And, you know, the more I thought about that, the more I thought, I don't believe so much of what I'm hearing as to what I'm not hearing. It just seems like they seem to be under the impression that people haven't caught on to this in all these years. I mean,
Yeah.
they're putting out some big, some big notice, and everybody at this point is like, yeah, it's of no shock to anybody at all anymore.
No.
They're just being redundant. They're just saying what everybody already knows, kind of like just throwing a bone out there. But it's like my son and I were talking. It's like what concerns me more is what they're not saying.
Exactly.
And right, and it's almost like we're stupid enough that if they throw us this little bone, that's going to satisfy us, so that they can go about doing whatever cover-ups that they do have going on, but thinking that we're okay in the fact that, oh well, they said that this is happening.
We actually worked a private investigation, and we went into this person's home, and with the thought, it's going to be demonic, based on the claims. Of course, we don't
Mm-hmm.
jump to it's demonic just right off the bat like that.
Right.
But you think about all the possibilities of what it could be based on what the client tells you about their experiences in their home. So we don't know, what kind of spirit we're dealing with, if it's a spirit at all. But we went into her home, and it was like this spirit was trying to drive her insane. She would take pictures and send me pictures and a lot of things. I just couldn't make out anything in the photos. But one night she had sent me some photos that she had taken with her phone. And I'm scanning through the photos. I'm like, oh, there's not going to be anything here. I mean, you can zoom in on a sofa and see a face or something.
Yeah.
And that's basically
Right.
what I had been looking at, but I'm scrolling and I see this one photo, and the photo was taken like in front of a china cabinet, and it was the face just like that we see people draw about aliens that they have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, and in the glass behind this you could see a reflection on the glass. So this was not, a picture of the sofa or a picture of the wall blown up, where it can fool you
Yeah.
and make you think you're seeing things. Well, on in the investigation, she had claims that when she would leave her house, that something would fly behind her like a drone, and she had taken pictures of it. Of course, she didn't get out of her vehicle, but she had a pretty convincing photo that she had leaned out the window and sort of taken the picture in the rear view mirror, where in the rear view mirror you could see lights, different colored lights. And she swore
Oh,
to
wow.
me that this was some kind of small craft that was following her like a drone. Well, drones can't go 10 miles down the road and follow you, or 20 miles or 30 miles, which I don't remember the exact distance that she had said this had followed her. Um, One day she called me on the phone and she said, I'm going crazy. She said, I've got to tell you what happened. So she had went and stopped at a park, and she got out of her car. The next thing that she remembers is that she's down in a ditch off in some woods. And she's a little bitty, tiny lady, just pretty as she can be. And she was trying to get out of this big ditch, and she couldn't. She couldn't remember how she got in there.
Wow.
I had no clue. And so she started screaming out, and finally, a man had heard her and came to her and helped her get out. She doesn't remember how long she had been down there, but it was a long period of time. When she got back to her car, it was 3 or 4 hours later. She does know that, but she doesn't know the time frame she was in the ditch, or she just doesn't remember walking there or falling in. And
Wow.
so that was really fascinating to me, very convincing. And after
Yeah.
she had shown me that photograph, it was like this thing was walking through her house.
That's the simple
Wow.
same claim that people's had for many, many years. Even when you go back to the stories of what Barney and Betty, that you know supposedly was abducted by aliens, they lost time And she was,
Yep.
describing the same thing. She had lost time while she was in that ditch.
Well, you and I had a similar incident happen coming from LaGrange, Georgia, back into Carrollton.
Hmm.
We were driving down the road, and we're in Troup County. We are 1 hour away from our home. All right. The next thing we know, we're coming into Carrollton, and it seemed like a 5-minute drive. And we look at the clock on the car, and actually we had made that hour drive, in what we thought was 10 minutes, but it had been an hour. We do not, neither one of us remember 50 minutes of that drive.
That's
It's
interesting.
like
And
a
it was both at
memory
the
loss. There wasn't like an hour, 2 or 3 hours later, we're back driving. It's just that there's like 50 minutes of that drive neither one of us remember. So that was
wow.
about the strangest thing that's happened to us concerning time,
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up. This happened about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Um, Me and some other people had gone out to this gentleman's house. This is an older gentleman, and he was completely convinced that he was being plagued by demons. Mm, yeah, you're listening to it and you're going, okay, we'll keep that into consideration, but we're going to check other things first. And basically, and I still have the pictures of this, he was obsessed with drawing pictures on the wall of his house, on the actual walls themselves. And he would just sit there with magic markers and just make these designs. Um, I can't really say that they were people that he was drawing. A lot of it, you couldn't really tell what it was that he was drawing, but he was obsessed with it and just making all these pictures up on the walls. He goes, "They're making me do this. They're making me do this. How are they making you do it? Oh, they're getting in my head and they're telling me that this is what I have to do and I have to make these things." Kind of reminded me of, on that movie Close Encounters, them building that
Mm-hmm.
volcano kind of thing.
Right, right.
And but he was totally convinced that they were demons. And I just kept thinking to myself, no, no, you know, we all four sitting here know that that's highly unlikely. And it just couldn't get out of my mind that I don't think that's what his situation was. I think that he had actually been visited. And if that was the situation. Now, looking at it again on another scope, we did come to find out that there was medication involved. And as soon as you hear about that, it kind of is like a timeout, kind of a thing. Um, but I really always wanted to get into it a little bit deeper, because even though there was these extenuating circumstances, I still think that there was a bottom line situation that was going on. Unfortunately, we couldn't take it a whole lot farther because of the obvious.
Right.
But to this
It
day, I
it
still
really
feel
hurts when you can't help a client like that. And it
does
doesn't mean
does
they're not experiencing something.
right.
It gets to the point where people in that position, they can't comprehend what you're trying to tell them.
Right.
Like, stop taking pictures, stop the drawings, just stop this and let's see what happens. um,
Right.
we have dealt with people who are on some pretty serious medications, and we know they were having paranormal activity in their home, but due to the medications they have to take and the
Right.
physical uh, problems that they were having to lead to the medications, it's like we can only go so far, and it breaks our heart when we just have to say, it's we've helped all we can. There's
That's
nothing else
it.
you can do, because there does
You
come a
know,
point,
it's
as bad as you don't want to walk away, you just have to say, we
you
love
have to.
you and we've helped you, but this is as far as our expertise goes. We can't go any further beyond this point.
Exactly. And I've had quite a few people ask me, well, why didn't you just go on ahead and, you know, kind of like off the record kind of thing, you just keep helping him because it's not helping him. That's what it comes down to. It's not
Yeah, it's
helping.
not healthy. It's not
It is
healthy
not
for
helping.
you, and it's not healthy for the client, because it will absolutely
Right.
drive you insane. And I actually thought about a client that I thought, well, you know what? I think Michael and I'll just go, and then I thought, no, if we keep going, we're just feeding an obsession, because it turns into
Yeah.
obsessions. And I don't want to be the reason somebody snaps under pressure or something
Right.
bad happens to, because we're feeding the obsession.
Exactly. Family involvement can become involved in it too. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know is that you're looking like you're a part of a liability.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, that's not what we wanted to do at all. But there was also something else that we were talking about now that, we're pretty much comparing. I think that a lot of times we go out and paranormal. We're looking at paranormal, and people automatically just assume we're paranormal teams. We're going out. We're looking for paranormal things. That's not the case, and I know you guys are probably going to feel the same way about it. We're not looking into so much of just paranormal. We're looking at what is what is creating havoc with this family in general. What is happening?
Mhm.
Is it structural? Is it is it plumbing? Is it electrical? Oh God, there's a plethora of things that it could be. We're not just going out looking, and a lot of times it's like, you've got that paranormal stigma. Oh, they're a paranormal investigation team. Actually, we're just looking for what can we do to help you in anything that it could be. And both of my sons are with me in what we do as well. And my one son, Devin, he's very, very, he's so close to something, and I know that he's so close to it. He was sitting down one day and he said, Mom, I've been thinking about this more and more. He said, you hear about it, and people that have experiences, one-on-one experiences, they walk away with burns. They walk away with, I mean, literal scarrings that don't go away. They can walk away with actual situations like cancers. He said, this really, really, really comes in very close proximity as being in the same thing as radiation. A lot of this simulates radiation. And he is really kind of thinking about going that extra step on taking equipment that can gauge where there's paranormal activity, whatever that it could be, paranormal activity, to have a Geiger counter and to see if there are any deposits of radiation signals in anything that we're looking at. Did you ever watch a movie called The Fifth Kind?
Possibly. The name does sound familiar.
It's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. Blaine Rohan and I were talking about it. It's a picture about I think she's a psychiatrist actually. Her daughter actually got abducted. She never did get her back, and it's actually uh, it's like a documentary really of this lady and all that she had encountered when she had the fifth kind of an experience, and that's the one-on-one, and it was horrifying. It wasn't any ET kind of thing at all. It was actually horrifying. What she was going through really so close to demonic that I could have ever imagined. I never, before really looking into this, I never really thought that the similarities could be so striking between the two.
Hmm.
But what she was experiencing was something that was very close in similarity as something demonic. And but it was extraterrestrial. The way it
Hmm.
moved, what it did, the way it reacted to things. I can't really say that it was um, violent. It wasn't so much violent. It's almost like it did what it did because it instinctually did what it was created for,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which we don't understand, of course. But I don't think that in a lot of circumstances it wasn't trying to be this horrible thing. It was just doing what it does. That's all. It just doing what it does. Take a look at the movie and then tell me what you think about it.
Okay, well.
Um, there was a, it'll really get your mind thinking because it's not a newer movie. It's an older movie, and my son Devin had me watch it, and I was like, "Whoa!" And it shows real pictures of the actual lady herself as she's explaining all this that is going on and that is happening. She was actually blamed for possibly killing her daughter because the child was never found,
Hmm.
and her life was literally destroyed. Her life was destroyed. It affected her physically to where I believe that I think that she's still alive, but she is confined to a wheelchair at this point. I mean, it just totally wreaked havoc on this lady, and it was scary. I mean, it was just downright scary. And my son and I were talking, and I said, "This mirrors everything that we've ever learned in cases of demonic activity. This completely it overshadows it. So it really gets you thinking how much of this that's being reported because due to a lack of understanding what it is actually being viewed at like this, but it's really not that at all. It's going into something that could be extraterrestrial.
Absolutely, absolutely. I did see a movie once. I don't remember the name of it, where a family actually had terrestrials come into their home.
Hmm.
The whole family were, would be abducted. Sometimes it would be just the children. It started out just the children. I'm going to try to Google that and see if I can find it. So, after that case that we did, um, it, I realize there is so much that we don't know yet. And there's two different uh, Michael and Destiny Fox and Fox Paranormals. Okay, there is the part of us that goes into a person's home and we try to help the client, but yet there's another side to us where we investigate all claims of paranormal on our own, not only a planned client based investigation. We like to go out and investigate because there's answers to questions that we have questions we just want answers to. So I've been thinking about a lot. I want to start going out a lot more to different places, and I want to explore more than I ever have in 2024 because there's so much out there. And I realize even through all these years that we've investigated the paranormal, there's still areas that have not the surface hasn't been scratched on it yet. I just want
Right.
to plunge in deeper. I want to
I know.
learn a whole lot more.
There's so much out there to be learned. I mean, it's like we're just scratching the surface. And I think it's just so important that all these paranormal teams that are out there, they're doing a great job. I mean, these people are doing
Absolutely.
a really good job. And the more that people are questioning it, and the more that they're bringing it to the front and saying, we want to have answers. We know what's happening. It's happening all around us, and it's not just us. It's happening all around the world. And the more that people are starting to question it, there's very little doubt that we've got to have some answers, because somebody has some of the answers. They might not have them all, but they sure got some of the answers that we
Hmm.
don't have. And to me, it would just make sense, because as the general public, in order to for their safety, if nothing else, make them aware. Yes, we're aware of what's happening here. Yes, we are looking out for you know, for your safety. We're trying to take steps. But to get the reassurance from the powers that be, I think it would set a lot of people a lot more at ease, because right now it's kind of like, yeah, anything can happen and nobody's going to believe us. And some of these people are really targeted. And that's a shame. That really is. It's a needless shame. So, but that's been something that's been like drifting around here, and we've been pondering over. Um, we have some of our own answers, but it just kind of leaves us to where we think we've got a little bit more that we can work with when we go into certain situations. It's like, okay, the more that we understand it and the more that we can explain it, you know, better for us and everybody else. So, have you guys ever been out on any kind of like cryptozoology, Bigfoot, or anything like that?
Kind of stumbled on something once. Um,
Did
there,
you?
there is a Hungarian cemetery close to our home, and it's called Budapest Cemetery. And
Oh, I've heard of it.
there was a settlement of Hungarian people um, that had moved here uh, to build farms and work and make a better life for themselves. And a fever or something came through, and a lot of these people died, and they're buried in the cemetery there. We used to use the cemetery for training new investigators, because we knew something was going to happen every time that we took somebody in there. And so it was like the perfect place. One night we had some people meet us out there that had never been there and wanted to go. So we go, and I almost live streamed us going down the road and getting to the cemetery and showing all of our audience what it looked like. But I didn't, and I wish I had, because just as we pulled in the front, there's an arch like this, and then you walk through to get into the cemetery part. Just as we pulled in and pulled in front of that arch, I looked straight off in the woods, and there was something black and hairy, walking upright, just taking its long little strides, and it would go behind trees, and I would see it come back out, and I'm like, Michael, look, look. Michael's looking everywhere except for where I'm pointing. I'm like, oh, good, right there, right there. And he didn't see it, but I did. I started to research to see if black bear was in the area, and none had been reported there but close by. So I don't know what it was that I saw, but that little cemetery, we had something very paranormal happen. We were out investigating there one night, and as usual, sometimes out there it gets darker than dark, and you just got that, you have that feeling when the crickets and everything go quiet, it's time to leave. I mean, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So when we get to that point, I like to pick my battles. And so,
Yeah.
when the bad shows up, the good get going. So we leave. But
I hear you.
we went home, and Michael, in his sleep, started mumbling some kind of gibberish. And he did it for 3 or 4 nights in a row. And I was telling him about it during the day, and I said, "No, you're saying some weird stuff." And I said, I cannot actually make out what you're saying. So I recorded him and played it back for him the next day. And then he told me about a dream that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And so it all ties in. Go ahead and tell him about the dream.
Well, the dream I had after we'd been to the cemetery is that a older gentleman dressed in black with a long coat, and he was standing at the side of the bed talking to me, and I was talking back at him, and he was asking me questions about us being at the cemetery.
Wow, really?
And
Yeah.
she recorded one of my conversations with him, I guess, when I was asleep talking. And when we checked on the language on the conversation, what she recorded, it was Hungarian. I don't speak Hungarian.
Yeah, what we were trying to do was the words that we could make out. I was typing them in Google,
Mm-hmm.
and then every word that even the spelling was close to was come back Hungarian for something. Of course, we couldn't do sentences because I couldn't pronounce a lot of the words.
Yeah.
So that little cemetery has a lot of everything going on out there. They even have a lady in white. What cemetery does not have a lady in white?
It seems like everywhere in the country we've been, there's been a lady in white.
Right, and they have.
It's obligatory.
White.
They have to have one.
Yeah, I think it's a requirement.
It is. It's an obligatory demand.
Yeah, but I have had similar experiences on cases where I've been targeted by the spirits for communication. We've had several cases that we've worked that Destiny, or we'd have somebody else working with Destiny, and they're not getting anything, and all of a sudden I start receiving the information. And I don't consider myself sensitive or anything. I've always been the scientific one on the team. I was always the one, that worked all the equipment, and I was always getting new equipment to try out. But it seems like over the years, I've gotten more sensitive to the spirits as we go.
A comment. Just because someone is on medication doesn't mean we should devalue. Can't think of the word. Well, that's close enough. No, you're absolutely right. We should never devalue because
No.
We have went to people who were on medication, people who had mental problems, and they legitimately had paranormal activity going on in their own.
Absolutely.
And then it seems like some people get obsessed with taking the pictures. They want to start recording and everything, and to me, it just makes me feel like that opens them up more to even more spirits coming through. And so my first recommendation to these people is always, okay, stop with the pictures. Let's don't record anything. Let's go quiet for a week or two, and let's see if the paranormal activity decreases or increases. But even people who are not on medication, they get that obsession, be just as sane as anybody, and they just can't stop themselves. So people with mental issues, we can only help so far. We can go in their homes and we can investigate and we can get them the evidence. But as far as moving any further with them, we can't do it because of mental conditions. because we're not psychiatrists. We can't
Right.
prescribe them medication to help them not see spirits anymore. So, there's only a certain length we can go with them. I mean, when you say, okay, you've got this going on, we do a house cleansing for them. Um, and some people, not everybody, some people just want to keep this going. If I
Yes.
go in and I sweep and mop my kitchen and I've got it spotless clean, and then I go outside and I walk in the rain and the mud and I come running through the house, then I have purposely made my house dirty again. And so some people do that, and they don't realize it. Once your house is clean and someone has done a house cleansing for you, or you've had a deliverance go on,
Mhm.
you've got to make changes in what you're doing,
Right.
or you're just going to make things worse. You're going to bring it right back. So no, we
Absolutely.
never devalue anyone, because of medication, because of mental problems, because we do realize, anybody can have a paranormal problem going on in their homes.
Absolutely. And, a lot of people who take medication take it for the simple fact of it helps them. It
Absolutely.
actually it gives them the aid that they need. Um a lot I do think that some people are affected to the point where, when one of the first questions that when we see that there's a problem, it's like, are you on medication? And we're not asking this to
Mhm.
devalue anybody. We're not asking,
No.
to embarrass them or anything like that. But it's a huge it's a huge piece in the puzzle. And the last thing that you want to do is to harm anybody, be it physically or emotionally, traumatize somebody. The last thing you want to do is to create more harm and more trauma to that person. And if they're already having a mental situation, the last thing you want to do is make it worse.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So,
I actually take a medication occasionally that it's for sleep. And I know that with this medication, I did something very strange one night. And it doesn't mean you're crazy because you have to take medication that can cause hallucinations
mhm,
or
yeah,
cause dreams. But I had taken this medication, and I remember my daughter had came in and gave me $10 that she had owed me. She said, "Here, Mom, here's the $10 that I owe you," and I put it on my nightstand. Took the medicine, went to bed, and went to sleep. I dreamed, and I had this Betty Boop nightgown. It was like a T-shirt, a long nightgown that goes to my knees, and I dreamed that barefoot I walked from my house to the gas station, walked in barefooted, and I remember I could feel the wet grass, fresh cut grass on my feet. I dreamed I went into that station in my Betty Boop nightgown, bought me a Pepsi, and walked back home. Okay, well, the next morning I wake up and I felt something in the bed. It was actually grass. I get up to go to the bathroom. There are blades of grass in the floor beside my bed. On my nightstand is a Pepsi and change from a $10 bill. So apparently, here I go up the road in my Betty Boop nightgown into
I'm
a
thinking so.
store. This is true story. This really
Yeah,
happened.
that's true.
Hey, Richard, how are you? True story. So,
So you're
in
wandering the
this,
streets in your Betty Boop nightgown.
yes, it was a truck stop too, honey. So here I am walking from my house to a truck stop in a nightgown. Woo.
Drinking a Coke.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll do strange things to you. It
Yeah,
really will.
Absolutely.
but
It,
I
it
do
will.
I do go through pretty good series of questions when we take on a new case.
Mhm.
And I ask them some pretty
Yeah.
hard questions. And I tell them up front
Yeah.
when I'm interviewing them, I said, some of these questions are going to be difficult for you to answer.
Hey, ghost hunting housewives.
But, it's information that we need to be able to help them.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All the ghost hunting housewives, we were at Paracon with them.
Yeah,
I remember them. Yeah.
2 doors down.
Yeah, they were there.
Yeah.
How are y'all doing? So, and from what I know of you, Destiny, you're not, out there. So it's a
Well,
medication
that's
that
a
you
matter of
took.
opinion. Depends on who you ask.
Trying to be nice, Destiny.
Hey, Teresa.
But but it's just this medication that had you sleepwalk, and I know Xanax does that with a lot of people. Xanax is famous for making people sleepwalk. And
Hey, Jared.
but some of the medication that some of these people are on goes so far over that, and like the gentleman that I was telling you about, he was just fixated on painting and just, drawing on his wall all these pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And there just comes a point where, like you say, we're not psychologists, and you have to just say, I'm sorry, I know that there's something going on here, but before we can even start with that, we have to start with this right here. We have to start right here. And no, there's Tammy Leonard.
Hey,
Hey,
Tammy.
How
Tammy.
you
Love you
doing?
bunches. We're trying to stay warm. It's like 19.
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
But see, Miss Debbie, a lot of times the human mind can conjure up things also. So if they
Absolutely.
sit there enough and look at a picture or draw a picture and look at it, they'll conjure that spirit up.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And to tell you the truth, that's kind of what I think what was going on with this individual right here. He was an older gentleman, taking this medication, like I said, completely obsessed. And he used to say that he would see them and then he would try to communicate with them. I said, don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. And he goes, no, I want to know. So I would talk to them. Don't do that. But I know you're absolutely correct. A lot of times these medications, what?
We were talking about the interview process, and Tammy Leonard came up. I was going to mention she's one of the best pre-case interviewers I've ever come across, as far as being able to ask hard questions.
Really?
She shoots from the hip.
She definitely shoots from the hip.
Well, that's what you have to do too.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes that's a hard barrier to get across. It's just, but you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You do. There's just so many different circumstances. It's like you really have to almost when you first go in, the last thing is like you're trying to rule everything else out in order for you to go in to do an investigation on something that's separate from earthbound things, medication, family trauma. And that'll bring some stuff on right there. We all know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Family history. That'll bring some stuff on right there. Kids dabbling where they shouldn't be dabbling. How many times we walk into something like that?
Yes.
Or adults dabbling where they shouldn't be dabbling.
Or even generational curses.
Adults acting like kids and not doing it. Yeah, exactly. So, by the time you get through all of that, and then just like Tammy is saying, medical is definitely an issue. Oh, it's a huge issue. It's a
Mhm.
huge issue because a lot of times the people are looking at something and in their mind they are seeing it. You can't tell them it's not there. It is that they are seeing it, and I don't doubt that they are. I have no doubt in my mind that they are. But if there's a lot of medication involved in it,
Mhm.
kind of like that's a thin line. There's a thin line there. And sometimes it's just best to try to advise them, you know,
Mhm.
to just like what you're saying, stop. Just try to keep yourself from writing on the wall. Try to stop, see what happens. What if you just removed yourself from this? Or what if you just took a couple of days and you got away from the house?
Mhm.
Put yourself into a different environment. Go stay with some friends for a few days. There's a whole plethora of things that can be advised rather than continuing on with something that could eventually end up harming your client in the long run, which is not what we're trying to do at
Right.
all. Um, Kids are a tough issue. And I know probably 75% of everybody that's on the team, one of their biggest things that they try to do is help children, you know, and man, that's a hard one when you've got kids that are involved in it.
Mhm.
That's a tough one,
It is.
especially when you know that in certain circumstances that their parents are the one that's bringing a lot of this on, and then they're trying to figure out how it started. Tammy is saying we had someone that was chemical unbalanced. Glad you bring this up. Some people want to think everything is paranormal.
Absolutely.
It's just Tammy, and I can't agree with you more. I think that being chemically unbalanced, if there is, let's say, if there is something paranormal going on, what a great breeding ground.
Mhm.
You know,
We have had
I mean,
cases where someone was chemically unbalanced, and their whole goal the whole night was to convince us they were having paranormal activity, and we
mhm,
absolutely had no activity all night, and
yeah,
it was a very strange night. That was a first, and I hope that was the last. But now we interview more now than we used to. So, I try to, if I'm doing the interviewing, which it flips from Michael to myself, it depends on
Mhm.
the situation and who's available to talk to a new client. I more want to ask questions about them. I want to make sure that where we are taking the team is safe for us to take them there, is safe for us to
right.
go there. And hey, Charles, love you, Bubba. Um, I want to make sure 100%, well, as close to 100% as I can get, that we are dealing with someone who's legit and not lying to us. We did go on an investigation once where um, Michael and I had a large team at the time, and we were able to send them ahead to set up equipment, and then Michael and I would join in later. Once we got to the investigation, I mean, they're all outside and they're looking pretty serious. They had found drug pipes. What do you call them?
Crack pipe.
Crack pipes. You can
Yeah.
tell I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Crack pipes, just all kind of paraphernalia in the home.
Yeah.
They were doing drugs in the home earlier before our team got there, and some of the team wanted to stay. Uh, we did stay for a while. Not too much longer after that, there came a point where Michael said, "Pack it up, pack it up."
Yeah.
I did address it with the client.
Yes, you
Once it
did.
was
You
brought to my
did.
attention, our lead investigator at the time was there, and he brought it immediately to our attention
Mhm.
when we arrived. And I saw what it was, and I went to the client and I said, "I think I found your ghost."
I remember that. I
Right.
remember you
Yeah.
doing that. And
Yeah.
I was going,
And you have to be straightforward with them like that.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do. Um, I don't know if it's their way of getting kicks. Some of the people is like, bring them in here and see what they say, or if they're actually believing it, but it's just the influence of what they're doing.
mm-hmm.
I had an investigation here. It was close to where I am here, and when I walked in, I knew that there was something there, but it was kind of like yes and no kind of a thing. It was split. And one thing that was there was a very protective spirit that was going on there. And that wasn't the problem. The more I got into it, I told the owner of the home, I said, there is something here, but it hasn't been here for that long. And it was brought in by somebody doing something that should not have been done.
Hmm.
And as long as that person remains in this home doing that activity, this is going to be the result of it. You probably won't be able to get rid of it until that person is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much exactly what happened. And when that person finally left, the problem left. Um, it creates a perfect environment of, in my opinion, concealing themselves. They can conceal themselves very, very easily there because there's chaos and calamity. And where there's chaos and calamity, it's a perfect environment for something to blend very, very well.
Exactly.
It's what it thrives. It's what it
And
thrives on.
Tammy says you have to be careful calling them out. Jeremy and herself had a gun pulled on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually
Really?
have a reenactment video on YouTube about this particular case. And Tammy would be a good one to have on your show. We had her on ours once. Principles of um, interviewing clients. I
Hmm.
mean, it was a very good show. And, Jeremy gets all the attention because he's been on TV, da 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 da. But Tammy is a very intelligent woman. The brains behind the outfit. He's going to kill me if he ever hears this. Don't tell him, Tammy. Um,
I love you, Tammy. You know that.
yeah, she is awesome. She
Yes.
really is. We love her very much. So you should have her on your
Well,
show to talk about all this sometime.
Tammy, I would love to have you on. I would really love just putting up with Jeremy. God love you, Tammy.
Bless
God love
Well,
you.
Mama,
Tammy.
we had a similar investigation like that.
We did. We had an investigation where a client had us in a very small place and actually reached behind her back to pull a gun on us. It just so happened that two of our team members were carrying, and we were out in the middle of the woods with these people. And as soon as they realized what she was reaching for, they pulled up their little shirts and showed up, you don't want to go here. And it could have gotten very bad. It really could have, but thankful we have some fast thinking men, and there was a lady carrying with us too. So
Yeah.
fast thinkers really got us out of that
Well, we'd already
situation.
suspected that there was a problem there.
Yes.
So, yeah, three of us was actually carrying firearms
Yeah.
hidden on our bodies just for safety purposes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's out in the woods, yeah, in
Yeah.
particular.
Sometimes
Yeah.
clients can be scarier than the spirits you're
Yeah.
investigating.
That's more scary to me than anything else.
Yeah.
That right there. People terrify me.
Well, think about it.
People.
You're going into people's home most of the time. You don't know these people. You're going in
Exactly.
based on the interview, and who knows if they're telling you the truth then. Um, we really haven't had a lot of problems in this area, but I could see where it would be a problem. I mean, you're putting yourself in someone's
Yeah.
home or on their property. You have no clue. A few years ago, someone had reached out to us and he said he had a cabin. It was built on limestone, beautiful cabin. Sent us pictures of this 2-story, beautiful, beautiful place. And he was telling us about his paranormal activity. And we were intrigued. We really wanted to go. And then Michael's daughter, who was a part of another paranormal team in Montgomery, Alabama, she said that when Michael had talked to her about that she had read that people were going to this place and this man was shooting at them, that he was lying to them and he was crazy. And this was back early. I hadn't been investigating but a few months, and a newbie is like, yeah, let's go. And but we found out real fast that this man was trouble. He was dangerous. Paranormal teams had been there, and when they pull up on the property, he would shoot at them.
He would ambush him.
Yes. This man also went on to fake that he had cancer. Just different things. He was very dangerous. And I just hope that nobody ever fell for that and got seriously injured by him.
But we've had a lot of clients over the years that's been kind of way out there.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of way out there too.
Yeah, I know. We did have one case that was right out of the Twilight Zone in Atlanta.
That's
Well,
true.
I want to know.
We got called to do a case. This gentleman contacted us, and we took the case, and we drove a long ways to do this investigation. And this was a freaky night from the get-go.
And I don't even know if this man was real.
I think he was paranormal
I'm serious.
himself.
Yes, I'm serious.
He would disappear.
Are you serious?
Here. Yes.
Yeah, Tammy, you're right. She said, always let someone know where you're going and times you'll be there. People are crazy. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I leave the address at home with family and a phone number to that client.
Seriously, yeah. Teresa says we've had to deal with a client with a gun too. Yeah.
This investigation Michael was talking about is like, we got there and he was telling us about talking to rats, and we're kind of snickering a little bit about this. And then we would be talking to him and he would be gone. And then we'd turn around and there he would be in another spot in the house. We would be outside.
Yeah.
And we'd be standing there talking. All of a sudden, he's right beside us. You didn't hear him walk up or anything. Legitimately had paranormal activity going on in his home. But he was...
I believe he was part of it.
I actually saw
It could have been.
little elemental spirit there run across the floor. It was about 1.5 feet tall. Ran across the baseboard. It went too fast. I couldn't tell, exactly what it was, but it was about this tall and it ran by the wall. So, and he's talking about he talks to rats. Well, if that was a rat, it was a big rat.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was a rat. I really don't. But I saw something. So, I don't know. He was just a weird one.
You know what's so strange is that you saying that he's talked to rats. The gentleman that I was talking about earlier, that we couldn't help because of writing on the walls, he said he talked to rats too.
Oh wow!
Interesting.
Well, there could
He said
be
that he was
something
talking
to
to
the
rats.
rat talking.
Yeah, I didn't know rats talk so
You can't
much.
trust a rat.
Never trust a rat.
They'll rat you out.
I
Never
work for
trust a rat.
I work for a company, and we have a repo man, and our repo man goes by the name of Rat.
There you go.
I hope he's watching.
Yeah.
Now he's going to think I don't trust him.
But yeah, over the years we've had a
He
lot.
calls himself Rat.
A lot of odd cases. I mean, that's come
Yes.
up, and we've done some crazy things in the name of gathering research too over the years. Here a few years ago, it's been what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we spent an entire weekend in a abandoned funeral home,
Yeah.
camped out, air mattresses, everything,
Why?
for the sake of research.
Of course.
We had cameras set
I
up.
have actually.
We had the whole
Sure.
place covered.
See, I can see that. Totally. I remember one time I fell asleep in the middle of this superbly haunted place. And I fell asleep. Now I was tired. But I did lay my head on the Bible as a pillow.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's a good thing.
The best
it
sleep I
was.
get is on a haunted investigation when we do a shut in, a shut down, lock in, whatever you want to call it.
Peaceful.
When we do that, I go to sleep. We we were at Polydale a few months back, and so just when they're getting to investigate real good, I get on my little queen size air mattress with my little fan blowing, put in my earbuds, and I'm gone. I'm asleep. And they're talking about, you didn't hear that? Something running up and down those stairs all night. And I'm like, no, I was
Look at
asleep.
Tammy. Look what Tammy wrote.
They crazy.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tammy's been with us on investigations like that in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She did
Yeah,
do
so yeah,
the Old South Pittsburgh.
Old South Pittsburgh
She
Hospital.
did for a while. Yeah.
Did she fall asleep there?
No,
No.
she went back to the motel.
No, if I know Tammy, she might have went shopping without me. Oh,
I don't know what it is about, but you're right. I mean, I got a pretty good snooze in that night. They said it was pretty active in there. I wouldn't know. I didn't know about a whole lot of that. Tammy said, "Yes, we need to do that again."
yes.
Definitely.
I got something in the works. I don't know if Jeremy told you, but I'll send you a message in case he didn't.
Yeah, I would definitely like to talk to you, Tammy. Definitely, definitely. I mean, any kind of good information that we could get, more the
Well, she
better.
interviews, if not all, the majority of Jeremy's clients. So she is grade A.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I've
exactly.
seen her in action. She's good.
Yeah. We had Jeremy and Tammy assist us with interviewing a client once. And I do too, Tammy. I love to shop. And she actually went through her interview process, and we were amazed.
You gotta tell me, not Jeremy.
I know it. I think you would like this, so I'll tell you. I'll send you a message later.
But yeah, that's been some good cases over the years. And
Yeah.
we do like to do lock-ins.
Yes.
What we call lock-ins.
do
It's
what?
like
Oh,
lock-in.
lock-ins.
Yeah.
Yes. And we set it up like home. We take. I have even taken my electric blanket with me on investigations. I
You were
have.
ready.
Yes, I have this nice, soft, queen size air mattress. I'll set a little lamp by the bed. Um, if it's limited power, we've got a little battery operated generator. I set it up just like home, just like a little bedroom. Whatever room or corner they give me, I set it up like home.
Well, you know what? I've got an RV, and I'm trying to get it set up to where I can use it as a like a home base. and just keep things going on all the time at a location, 20, keep it going through the night, especially after we're gone, but be able to be right there. So if we see something, be able to go in there and, check it out or something.
And
But
if you're staying on a haunted location like that, an RV would come in handy, because there are times,
mhm,
it's rare that you want to pull the whole team out and say, hey, let's get out of here for a minute. Even if
yeah,
it's out in the yard or something, it's just sometimes it gets so intense, or you see
it
some of your
does.
team members are being affected in a negative way during an investigation. I will pull them out. I've even sent team members home.
Mm-hmm.
If we start getting a lot of
Sure.
negative stuff going on, and like I've got somebody that I truly don't believe can handle what we're experiencing at that time, I'll say, you need to go. And everybody knows that if I tell them
Absolutely.
to go, go. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm mad at you. It's because I'm trying to protect you.
Absolutely. And that's a valuable team. That really is. That when you're looking out for each other like that. A lot of times is like you're saying, the smartest thing to be would be to remove yourself bodily from the scene. But so many times that that's what you should do, but you just don't want to walk away because it's happening and it's going on. It's like, but that would just be like the best of both worlds, to be able to still be right there on the scene because it's so active, but yet remove yourself from it so you can watch it, but still be close enough there to be able to go in if you had to go in. Tammy
Oh
says she
yeah,
needs an
I've
electric
I've
blanket.
got an electric blanket too. Hey, look, in the summertime, like if I've been in the pool all evening, and you come in, it just chills your body being in the pool. In July, I've been known to have my blanket on. In July,
No.
yes.
Not me.
Oh my God.
Not me.
Can't do an electric blanket in July. Hmm. I don't think I've ever been that wet.
I've been that cold.
I have definitely been that cold. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've been on a few investigations that have just been just off the chain. Just totally off the chain. And sometimes the best way, because you're so involved in it as what's going on, and you're just in it full, you know, that the best thing to do is to back up and regroup.
Hmm.
That it really is, because the last thing you want to do is lose control of what's going on. That's the last thing you want to do. And I remember one time someone yelled, "Abort! Abort!" because of what was going on.
Michael tells the
Even
story
at the
of
time, I went, "Say what? What do you want? Abort?"
Michael
But
tells
we
the
were in
story of it. I think it was your uncle. They went out ghost hunting
Oh
once. And
yeah,
what was it he said?
years ago in North Carolina, my uncle, he wanted to go ghost hunting, so I took him out ghost hunting, and we walked into this old abandoned church, and the first thing out of his mouth is he goes, "We come in peace. We mean you no harm."
Like he was talking to an alien that just landed or something. We come in peace. We mean you no harm. What did that
What
was?
was that
What
about?
just
What was that?
happened?
What was that?
I don't know.
Stan gave us
Stan,
balloons.
what did you give us? I thought we were having
Stan did
paranormal
that?
activity behind us.
We
I
got the
was like,
big one.
what the what? What?
I was going to blame Tammy.
Balloons.
Tammy went shopping and look what she found.
Yeah, balloons. She got the balloon special.
Yeah. Stan probably knows where this church is too. It's on the old Ice Plant Road, North Carolina. And that
Old
was so
Ice
fun.
Plant Road.
Yeah, that's back in North Carolina where I grew up. I grew up in one county, and Stan grew up in the adjacent county right beside me.
So you guys grew up real close to each other.
Yeah, but we didn't know each other, but we were close to each other.
They probably met at a party somewhere and don't even remember.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
we went to a lot of the same parties.
Me too, Charles. I'm still wondering.
I went to a party one time. They said I had a great time.
Yeah.
I just have
I've
to
been
take
to a
word
couple
for it.
of those.
I came home with a tattoo. I really did. I thought I had a sunburn. I've still got that damn thing on my back too. I was like 19 years old. And yeah, from what I hear, I had a great time.
Yeah, Teresa,
Still
I've
got the tattoo
listened
to prove it.
to Stan talk about some of those parties with Michael. I've heard the
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
The deer one is
I don't
one
do
that
those parties
I can't-
anymore. I'm too old.
I kind of got a mental picture of the deer story that he told, and it's horrifying.
Yes.
I'm like picturing that.
I was
poor
going to
deer.
say, tell it to me, but I'm not sure I want to know.
No, I can't tell that.
Stan will have to tell it
That's
to
a
you.
secret. I can't tell it. That's a secret.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the Paracon in Alabama last year. and came
Chocolate
home with a
mayo?
tattoo.
Chocolate mayo.
Yeah, that's another story too.
Well, the last Bear Comic Con?
Yeah,
Who came home with the tattoo?
I did.
Michael got a tattoo.
Mhm.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I
fox.
found myself buying
see, that's
everybody
nice.
tattoos. I bought
That's
about
nice.
4 people a tattoo that trip. We
Yeah.
got one over here too.
Yeah, he's got the
We got a
fox too.
tattoo.
Oh, let me
We
see.
got her
Oh,
that.
did-
No, the other way.
there you
There you
go.
go.
Stand on your head. Okay. Yeah, now I can see.
Stand
I
on
can
your
see it
head.
better that way. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are nice
Yeah.
tattoos.
It was one of the last
I didn't get a nice
tattoos
tattoo.
that
Wesley did.
Wesley did. That was at the Paracon. Those tats were done by him 3 days?
3 days before he died.
Maybe 3 days before he passed away.
3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just so horrible.
Yeah.
So horrible. You know, and you think about Teresa, Stab and Slab did them.
Yes.
That's the name of the tattoo artists that were at the Paracon
Yeah.
this past year.
Stab and Slab.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They were putting out some pretty work. They
Is that
really
the
were.
name
I
of
saw
it?
some of their
Stab and
tattoos.
I was just
Tattoo
making
body
sure we
piercings.
weren't talking about another party
Mhm.
because that sounds serious. If Charles says, I never came home from a party with a tattoo, but never mind. Okay, Charles.
I don't advise it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We come in peace.
I do not advise it.
No balloons that time. Doggone it.
I did
Yeah,
used to know
what
a
happened to the
funeral director
balloons?
that if you stab them, we slap them.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. In a weird, twisted
It
kind of
makes
way.
total sense. Oh my God, no wonder we do what we do. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for the next Comic Con. I had a lot of fun at the
excited
last
about
one.
I did too.
We've been to Paracons all over
Wasn't
the
it fun?
country, and that's one of the best ones we go to. We love going.
Yeah.
Really?
Best.
Yes.
Mhm.
See, I want to add one more Comic Con to the year this year. I mean, obviously, the Deep South Paracomic is my number one that I will go to. And we got surprises for this year. Oh, I know you do. That's Teresa. Um, but I wanna add on another Paracomic. That's not that all that far away, you know. So if you guys know of another one, let me know. But I would definitely like to add another one on.
Seems like every one we go to is clear across country.
Yeah, I can't do that. Even with my RV, I can't do that. I got to be a little bit more local.
I love local
But
events.
I do too.
Alabama's not bad. We actually live, we're probably about 30 minutes from the state line in central east Alabama, close to Heflin,
Yeah, we're
Georgia.
Heflin,
definitely.
Alabama.
Yeah, you're a ways from me.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
a
I think
ways from me.
to the Comic Con, I think it was like a 3.5 hour drive.
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3.5 hour drive to the
About what,
Comic-Con.
3? I was going to say about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Y'all about 3 hours. Well, I'm
well, by
south
the
of the
time we
Paracomic,
stop to
so
pee every hour, it's, it's 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And if we see anything on the way, we won't stop at.
There she goes. She's got the date. Deep South Paracomic in Ozark, Alabama, October the 5th through 6th, 2024. The event of the year, and you guys don't want to miss it.
No, it
If
is
you're a vendor,
absolutely.
one of the best to go to.
if you're a vendor, you will love it. If you're a celebrity, yeah, come so I can get your autograph.
And we will be there.
Absolutely.
So
Yes,
everybody
we're
who
gonna
wants
be
to
there.
meet Fox Paranormal, Michael and Destiny, we will be at that Paracon.
Yes. And we might have Kobe with us.
I'll be there.
You're going to be there, Kobe?
I will.
Yeah, I'm going to be there with my Spooky Things booth. Okay. I'll see what we'll see everybody there. So all of us are going to be there. Tammy says it's definitely a lot of fun. It is. It really is. It's almost like a big family,
Mhm.
everybody getting together. Destiny loves the paranormal brew
Oh, for
coffee.
crying out
What
loud.
paranormal brew?
I'm going to tell you something. I ain't going to say it ain't good. But I drank a cup of that coffee one morning. And I think it was when I had COVID a couple of years ago. So I'm on steroids. And then Teresa sends me a bag of the W.E.B.B brew coffee. I guarantee you will be running around. You will not sit down. If you're looking for a great pick me up, let me tell you one thing. You get you some of that W.E.B Paranormal brew coffee. I thought I was going to be talking to some ghosts.
I tell you what, you drink that coffee for an all-night investigation, you'll be going all night.
Exactly. That's what you
All
need.
night
If you
long.
need to stay awake, if it's midnight and you're trying to make it to that 3 a.m. mark, you need to get you some of that W.E.B Paranormal brew. It
Yeah.
will keep you
Keep
up
buzzing all night long.
Yeah.
all night long. It woke me
Won't
up.
be any
I
sleeping
don't
on the
know
job
if
that
it
night.
was the combination of the steroids or the coffee.
It was
But I'm
one of the
telling
two.
you what, I was awake almost 24 hours
Yes,
after drinking that coffee.
I will vouch for that.
Yes. I was sick and running,
Oh
girl.
my God. Says it woke you up.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
did.
Oh my God.
It's got a kick.
We
A
still
little bit
got
of
it
a
in
wang
the
to it
cabinet
there.
too.
Yeah.
sometimes I have to be at work so early in the morning. I've got to be there sometimes 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And, I've done investigations that night. And, man, I'm telling you, it is hard. It is hard. You're just sitting there just like, oh, God, let this night be over. But you got to do it.
Yeah.
You make a commitment to do it. You got to do it. But, oh, man, I've struggled through some nights trying to keep awake because by the time it's all over with, I've been awake for 26, 27 hours.
Yes,
Those are
Charles,
hard nights.
Captain Morgan, and set sail for sure.
Usually, when we're doing an investigation all night, though, I mean, just the investigation itself gets us pretty hyped up.
The adrenaline.
Yeah.
If something's really
Yes.
going on and it's fascinating, the
If it's
adrenaline.
active.
Yeah. So if anybody's ever on an investigation with me and I'm just like, yeah, I'll just watch the monitors. Ain't nothing going on at that investigation. So I ain't feeling nothing.
I want
so
to be
I'll
where the
just
action
sit
is.
back and let y'all have fun.
Yeah. If there's something going on, I want to know. I want to.
Yes,
I
I want
want
to
to figure it out. Yeah, I'm the same way. Something's going on. It's like that just fuels me up. Let's go in there. I'll be the first one to go in there. Depending on what's going on, I might be the first one back out again. Depending on what's going on. But I remember back years ago, there was an investigation that we went on. And it was 3 girls and about 7 guys. Easily. We lost all the men folk, and the only people still in the house was the 3 girls. And I was like, where'd our men folk go? They were all upstairs, and the next thing you know, they came down the stairs. They went out there. They were like, no. And I was like, where are they going? They're going out the door. Oh no. We're not doing that. Get back in there.
Good night, Teresa. It is getting late, sweetie. Have a good night.
What time is it? Oh yeah. Well, it sure has been good talking to you guys. I am so glad that you guys came.
Loved it. We've
I always
enjoyed
have
the
fun.
conversation with you.
I love talking to you guys. I love it when you guys come on to the show. And Colby, it was nice to meet you. I'm glad that you joined in. Thank you.
And we can pick up right where we left off Thursday night, as you will be the guest on our show this Thursday. Same time.
I'm excited.
Just different day.
Yeah.
Just a different day.
Yes.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I sure do appreciate that. So, this is Debbie and Fox Paranormal, and we're going to be saying goodbye for the night. And tune in on Thursday night for Fox Paranormal. Same time, right? 7?
Mm-hmm. 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern time. Great seeing everyone. Miss you. Bye, Tammy. So we've really enjoyed this evening. We've had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have had a lot of fun. And we're hoping to see you guys soon. And we'll be talking to everybody on Thursday night on Fox Paranormal, and take a listen to them Thursday night and every night. Thursday, every week on Thursday. I'll get it out. Eventually, I'll get it out at 7 Central time. All right. So good to see you guys. Thank you again for coming on to the show.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kobe. I've really enjoyed having you here. And we'll see everybody next Tuesday at 7 o'clock for Spooky Things. And on Thursdays at 7 o'clock, Fox Paranormal. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye
Peace
bye,
and love.
everybody.
Bye.